welcome back. I'm excited to have you here today because this is going to be New Comic Book Day for July the 7th of 2021, and this is going to be a shorter list. I'm trying to fight FOMO as well as high expenses, and so I'm going to have a pretty consolidated list here, but these are all books that I'm really excited to check out. Very anticipated reads for me, and before I ramble too much longer, don't forget to like and subscribe, comment, connect, follow, do whatever you do on the platform you're on. Just look for my furry face inside of an orange circle and click all the buttons next to it. So I kind of organized this in, I guess numerical order would be the best way to put it. So let's start with some new number ones that I'm excited about. The first one is called Clans of BELARI number 1. This is from AFTERSHOCK Comics, and it's a kind of sci-fi space opera sort of thing from the sounds of it. The synopsis I read on it pretty much talks about, like, you know, in a relative galaxy, I guess, so not too far from us. People are kind of restricted by these certain rules about staying within certain parameters and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this world is put together. It's written by Blackie, Peter Blackie, and Daniel, and the art's done by Daniel Maine. I'm not familiar with the Blackie brothers, but they are referenced in the synopsis, so it sounds like they have a history of writing something that's been popular before. So that's pretty much all I really know on the series. Honestly, the thing that turned me on the most about it was the cover. Both covers are pretty much the most generic sci-fi covers you could come up with, but that's kind of my wheelhouse, so I'm a sucker for it. I don't think either of these covers necessarily like stand out to me, but again, they were generic enough that I pretty much knew exactly what this book more than likely is based on the imagery alone. So I'm excited to check it out, and if you know anything else about the Blackie brothers or AFTERSHOCK Comics Clans of BELARI, then go ahead and drop that in the comments below and let me know if you're excited for it or what you think it might be about. Skybound X number 1. This is pretty exciting. This is going to be, I think it's 5 weeks, 1 book a week, and they're at a $5 price point, but they're also 50 some odd pages in each one, so there's going to be quite a bit of content here. From what I can tell, there's 2 stories in each book, and you know, so you're basically getting like a full one-shot comic book of different properties from Skybound, and really what it is them celebrating 10 years of Skybound. So this first issue I am extremely excited for. It has Clementine. It's going to do like a Walking Dead story that has Clementine being introduced into the comic book world for the first time. And I know there's a lot of people excited about that, but what really has me hooked is Ultra Mega. We're going to get a one-shot Ultra Mega story here. I'm really excited about that because I absolutely loved everything about Ultra Mega. All 4 of those issues were some of the best comic books I've read in like ever, you know. So I'm really excited for Skybound X because they're doing a good job of finding like at least one property that interests me quite a bit in each book. And so this first one is going to have Ultra Mega. I'm all about it. Very excited. Cannot wait for that. Basilisk number 2. This is Cullen Bunn, and I mean, I've been a Cullen Bunn for quite some time. I pretty much read anything that he puts out. He's an extremely consistent writer, but he's also, you know, pretty regularly putting out new ideas and interesting ideas. Like, it doesn't feel like he's repeating himself a lot, but he definitely has a style. And Basilisk number 1 introduced us to one of his signatures where you get like a group of people or maybe even an individual that has like some kind of crazy power that was acquired from like either scientific experiments or they naturally developed or something like that, and these characters tend to come into a small town, and it has a profound effect on the citizens of the small town. And so Basilisk fits right in there. If you read Man or Black, it you know, that kind of falls into that same category. I really like what Cullen Bunn does, and I'm excited for this one. in the first issue, we met, there's 5 characters, and they seem to have some sort of ability attached to one of the 5 senses. And we met, in the first one, we met a character that's kind of left that group. And so she's kind of becoming more or less like an anti-hero, I guess. And her ability involves the eyes. So she wore like this veil over her eyes, and we got a scene where she lifts it up and everybody in the room basically gets eviscerated. And the cover of this one, we see somebody, I think it's on the B cover specifically, you see somebody like holding a skeleton, like they've kind of like, you know, wrapped around a skeleton that just whoosh. So I imagine we're going to learn a little bit about the touch related character in this one and see what that power is all about. So I'm excited, I'm interested. I'm a pretty big fan of like small town kind of stories where you get to know like basically the whole community and see how something affects them. So Cullen Bunn definitely put this right in my wheelhouse, and I'm excited for more of that. Out of Body number 2, this is from Aftershock, and I think the most important thing I want to point out here is that the artwork is done by Inaki Miranda, who did We Live with his brother. And I love his art style, I love his artwork. Eva de la Cruz is on colors, and she did the colors for We Live also, and you're just getting like these beautiful, vibrant, trippy colors, and I really love the way that Inaki and Eva work together as like artist colorists. So I'm really excited about this. This is the second one. The first issue I really liked. It had a very consistent pacing. And pacing is something that's going to come up later in this this video as well, but pacing is something that really catches my attention and holds my focus. I know a lot of people felt like Out of Body number 1 was a little slow, but I liked that there was about 6 different layers that were introduced in that first issue, and the pacing just moved us through each one very well. And so I feel like in the second one we can probably ramp up the speed a little bit. However, I do hope it maintains a consistent pacing, and I'm really excited for all those different layers. Like, there was so many things going on in that first book. I'm really excited to see where it goes from there. Nice House on the Lake number 2. I don't think I really need to say too much about this. It did gangbusters with the first issue. People really loved it. I was into it. I thought it was a very solid book. Again, this is where that pacing thing comes up. Nice House on the Lake number 1 was perfectly paced. From the first page to the last page, you never feel like this stop and go sort of vibe to it. Like, it's just like consistently plodding along and unfolding right in front of your eyes, and I absolutely loved that. I thought it was great. They introduced us to a pretty huge cast of characters to be played with in this world, and they also gave us a nice little twist, and then they turned around and gave us another nice little twist. So I'm pretty excited to see where this goes and what the idea and the concept is here. It doesn't feel, I don't think, for me at least, I don't really categorize it as much in the horror realm as just like fascinating. You know, I'm really interested to see how all of those little threads that we got in the first one start to kind of come together and make sense out of the whole thing. So I'm excited. I like the artwork in the first one. I thought James Tynion, this, again, his writing is usually pretty solid, but that first issue was just masterfully paced, and I feel like honestly, it's probably the strongest number 1 we've gotten out of him. 10 issues into Department of Truth, I'm a little more, I feel like that's probably my favorite series he's doing right now. But Nice House on the Lake definitely has the potential to go even farther than that book is. So I'm excited for Nice House number 2. Suicide Squad number 5. If you've been watching for any amount of time, you know that this is one of my favorite series on shelves, to be honest. I picked it up thinking I was going to read the first one and then like just let it go. I've never been that into Suicide Squad and all that stuff. That first book absolutely hooked me, and then every book has been consistently similar but also just enough different that it's really held my attention and my focus. Easily one of my favorite books on the shelf. I do think that this is supposed to fly under the radar a little bit, but I did notice that the artist is changing on this issue. So we're getting Dexter Soy, and I I don't know his artwork, so I don't know where we're gonna go. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it until I read it, but I think it is a notable change. I really enjoyed the artwork in the first 4 issues, so I'm a little disappointed that they're changing artists, but at the same time, this could be better for the series. I really don't know, but I'm excited to check it out and find out. And then Swamp Thing number 5 from DC. This is Rom V. He's been killing it on everything he's doing right now. One of my favorite writers in the game right now. So I'm really excited for Swamp Thing number 5 to see where it goes. I enjoyed the cliffhangers with number 4. And I believe this is the issue we're supposed to get where Suicide Squad and Swamp Thing kind of cross over. So, you know, that's going to be exciting to check out because easily 2 of my favorite titles on shelves right now. I want to point out on this one as well, we're also changing artists here. We're moving to John McCrea, and I've never seen any of his artwork either, so I don't know what that's going to mean for this series. The upside here being I did look forward a little bit, and he's only on this 1 issue. We'll be moving back to Mike Perkins on issue number 6, and I'm assuming 6 through 10, but definitely 6 and 7 are back to Mike Perkins. So this is a little bit of a shift also. I don't know what that's going to mean for this issue or how I feel about it, but I'm excited to know that Swamp Thing will be returning to Mike Perkins, because that is one thing about this series that I've really praised the whole time, is how great the writing is and how awesome Mike Perkins is doing, going hand in hand with Rom V. Couple of honorable mentions here. Wonder Girl number 2 is slated to be released this week. I've talked specifically about number 2 at least 2 other videos before, so I don't want to like sit here and beat a dead horse. I've already talked about my excitement for number 2. I hope we get to see Yara in costume and see what that is like, but this book keeps moving down the line, and so that's a little frustrating for me as a fan. As much as I love Yara Flores so far and I'm excited for more of this, I'm not into books that can't hit deadlines. So I hope that number 2 is just a one-off. Maybe Joelle Jones got sick or something and had to take some time off. Totally understandable, but if 3, 4, 5, 6 or whatever, you know, just keeps getting pushed down the field, I don't know how long. I will stick on to reading this as a monthly title. It'll probably be something I'll just go ahead and wait for a trade on. The other one is Justice League number 64. This is coming out every 2 weeks. I don't really feel like talking about it all the time. Justice League has been fine. It's not terrible. It's been fine. It's been okay. But Justice League Dark in the back, written by Rom V, also absolutely in love with that part. So I will continue to read this series. But you know, talking about it every 2 weeks, there's not a ton happening because it's basically half a book. So yeah, Justice League Dark really has my attention. Wonder Girl I'm excited for, but who knows what we're gonna get out of all of that. So that's the list for this week. Like I said, I'm pretty excited for a lot of things on here. I mean, if I'm going top 3 here, I think Swamp Thing, Out of Body, and Skybound X. I'm really excited to see how they pull off the Skybound X thing. So that'd probably be my top 3 right there. Let me know in the comments below, what books are you excited for? What books are you waiting for? How do you feel about titles that keep getting pushed around, like Wonder Girl? Let me know about that. Are you into the bi-monthly or bi-weekly situation with Justice League? I just feel like I'm constantly getting Justice League and I'm not that into it, and so yeah, that kind of drives me crazy. Most importantly, tell me about Skybound X. I don't know who else has looked forward. Maybe I should do a video on that, since we talked quite a bit about it on the live stream the other day. But you're getting 2 stories, and they've pretty much found one franchise from Skybound that I'm into for every issue, so therefore I'm probably hooked for all 5. But what about you? What franchises really have you interested for these little one-shots in Skybound X? And let me know if I should make a video and kind of cover what stories are going to be in each one. So that's all I have for today. Until next time, keep flipping pages.
You